But you seen your brother plea?
Most definitely.
But he said you told him to do that.
Man, watch out.
A new jail call between Young Thug and 21 Savage just leaked, and it's shaking up the YSL narrative. Thug has spent weeks denying his brother was a snitch, but this call suggests otherwise. It shows his brother cooperated and Thug might have been covering for him. Let me break it down. The phone call that had the streets talking. To really get why Young Thug's phone convo with 21 Savage had the streets buzzing, you gotta rewind and see the bigger picture. Thug had just touched back down after 567 days, locked on that YSL RICO case, the wildest, most headline-grabbing hip-hop trial the South has ever seen. He's moving carefully, trying to rebuild, and then boom. A private call hits the net and suddenly everyone is questioning who's real and who's capping.
Have you seen brother plea?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
He said you told him to do that.
Man, watch out.
That wasn't just small talk. That was a heavy contradiction in real time. The whole situation centered around some real street politics that had been brewing since the YSL RICO case dropped. Young Thug, born Jeffrey Lamar Williams, had been through hell and back. His arrest on May 9th, 2022, alongside 27 other individuals in a massive 56-count RICO indictment had turned his entire world upside down. Prosecutors alleged that his record label YSL, which stood for Young Stoner Life, was actually a front for a criminal street gang called Young Slime Life, connected to the Bloods and responsible for a staggering array of violent crimes across Atlanta. The case would become Georgia's longest-running criminal trial, lasting over 2 years and featuring some of the most dramatic courtroom moments in recent memory. But on October 31st, 2024, after 567 days behind bars, Young Thug walked free. He had taken what's called a blind plea deal, essentially throwing himself at the mercy of the court without any guarantees about his sentence. The gamble paid off. Sort of. He was sentenced to 15 years of probation with strict conditions, including being banned from Metro Atlanta for 10 years, prohibited from associating with gang members, and required to perform community service, including anti-gang presentations. It was freedom, but it came with a price that would continue to haunt him. Now, here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. Among the co-defendants in this massive RICO case was Young Thug's own brother, Quantavious Greer, better known in the streets as Unfunk. Unfunk's journey through the legal system had been particularly painful to watch. In December 2022, he had taken a plea deal, receiving 12 years with 10 years of probation. But the conditions of his release proved too restrictive for someone trying to navigate life after such a traumatic legal battle. In January 2023, just weeks after his release, Unfunk was arrested again for possessing a firearm during a traffic stop, violating the terms of his plea deal. The violation would cost him dearly. He was sentenced to serve the remaining 9 years and 6 months in prison. This brings us to the tweet that would set the stage for the viral phone call. On August 29th, 2025, Young Thug posted on social media, "My brother would have rode the whole trip out, but then them guys took the plea. I told my brother take it too. No, I had just did 12 then. Again, I want to put my mama through that again. Hash free and funk." On the surface, this seemed like a supportive older brother, explaining his younger sibling's difficult decision. He was essentially saying that while Unfunk would have been willing to fight the case all the way to trial, the fact that other co-defendants had already taken plea deals, combined with Young Thug's encouragement and concern for their mother's well-being, had influenced Unfunk's decision to also accept a plea. But here's where things get interesting, and where 21 Savage enters our story. 21 Savage had been a supportive voice during Young Thug's legal troubles, and their friendship had been well documented through various collaborations and public statements of support. So when 21 Savage reached out to Young Thug after seeing that tweet, it wasn't just idle curiosity. It was one friend seeking clarification from another about a situation that had implications for their entire community. The phone call that followed exposed a contradiction so stark that it would send ripples throughout the hip-hop world and reignite debates about loyalty, truth, and the pressure that legal cases place on even the strongest family bonds. The leaked audio revealed Young Thug saying something completely different from what his tweet had implied.
Have you seen brother plea?
Most definitely.
He said you told him to do that.
Man, watch out.
That's what he tells
Man, oh God, he kept. On that same God, he kept.
See, his was a direct denial of what he had just publicly claimed. In the phone call, Young Thug was clearly stating that he did not tell his brother to take the plea deal, directly contradicting his social media post that suggested he had encouraged Unfunk's decision. Within hours of the audio dropping, fans on X were divided, with some seeing it as a sign of hypocrisy and others as a necessary protection of family. The split reflected deeper tensions within hip-hop culture about how street codes should be applied and what authenticity really means. For 21 Savage, Savage, the audio drop created unexpected complications, even though he was just trying to get clarity. He got pulled into a narrative he never wanted to be part of, showing how even peripheral players in high-profile legal cases can face unintended consequences when private conversations become public. The implications of this contradiction were staggering. If Young Thug was telling the truth in the phone call, then his public tweet was a lie designed to make him appear more supportive of his brother's decision than he actually was. If his tweet was accurate, then he was lying to 21 Savage, possibly to avoid appearing as if he had influenced his brother to make what some in the hip-hop community might consider a weak decision. The leaked phone call between Young Thug and 21 Savage didn't just expose one contradiction, it peeled back the curtain on a much larger pattern of hypocrisy that had been building since Young Thug's release from prison. The most glaring aspect of this hypocrisy centered around Young Thug's treatment of Gunna, one of his most successful proteges and a cornerstone of the YSL brand. Gunna, whose real name is Sergio Giovanni Kitchens, had been one of the co-defendants in the YSL RICO case. In December 2022, Gunna had taken what's called an Alford plea, a legal maneuver that allows defendants to maintain their innocence while acknowledging that prosecutors have enough evidence to likely secure a conviction. As part of his plea agreement, Gunna had acknowledged that YSL had gang affiliations, a statement that many in the hip-hop community viewed as tantamount to snitching on his own crew. The backlash against Gunna had been swift and merciless. Rappers like Lil Baby had publicly dissed him, with Baby saying F***K the Rats during a performance when their collaborative song Drip Too Hard was played. Other artists including Mano, Freddie Gibbs, Boozy Badass, and Sauce Walka had also criticized Gunna's decision, treating him as if he had violated the sacred no-snitching code that governs street culture and, by extension, much of hip-hop. Young Thug himself had not been immune to this sentiment. In 2024, he had posted on social media, "Gunna stop acting like we friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy," a public disavowal that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. Here was the founder of YSL, the man who had discovered and nurtured Gunna's career, essentially cutting ties with one of his most loyal artists. The message was clear. Taking a plea deal, even one that didn't require testimony against co-defendants, was seen as a betrayal worthy of exile from the YSL family. The conversation revealed that Young Thug's own brother had taken essentially the same type of plea deal that Gunna had taken. Both had acknowledged YSL's gang connections as part of their legal agreements. Both had been released while Young Thug continued to fight his case from behind bars. Yet the treatment they received from Young Thug and the broader hip-hop community couldn't have been more different. The timing of this revelation was particularly damaging because it came at a moment when Young Thug was already facing renewed scrutiny over his own relationship with law enforcement. In August 2025, a 2015 interrogation audio had resurfaced and gone viral, in which Young Thug could be heard discussing associates' criminal activities with police. In the audio, he had mentioned Pee Wee Roscoe's alleged involvement in various crimes, leading to accusations that Young Thug himself had snitched long before any of his YSL associates had taken plea deals. Young Thug had denied these allegations on social media, stating, "They didn't play my interrogation video in court because I helped my brother hash ratware." Pee Wee Roscoe himself had come to Young Thug's defense, saying, "Jeff clean as Listerine, man. Clean as Ivory soap. He kept it silent, kept it overly real." But the damage to Young Thug's credibility was already done, and the leaked 21 Savage call only made things worse by highlighting the inconsistency between his public statements and private actions. DJ Academics, a prominent hip-hop commentator, had previously claimed that Young Thug had privately called Gunna a snitch in messages to other rappers like Lil Baby and Lil Durk. If true, this meant that Young Thug had been actively working to damage Gunna's reputation behind the scenes while publicly maintaining some degree of plausible deniability. The conversation also revealed the broader dysfunction within the YSL camp.
Why you not going hard on your brother? Now Roscoe, Pee Wee, who damn near told Academics that every single person was a snitch, including Thug brother. Everybody is snitching.
This part of the conversation highlighted how the RICO case had created an atmosphere of mutual suspicion and accusation within Young Thug's circle, with various associates pointing fingers at each other while potentially engaging in the same behaviors they were criticizing. The YSL RICO situation, breaking it all down. To really understand why Young Thug's conversation with 21 Savage hit so hard, we gotta break down the massive legal situation that created all this drama. The Young Stoner Life, YSL, RICO prosecution, which became one of the most significant and controversial hip-hop related cases the culture has ever seen. The YSL RICO case jumped off on May 9th, 2022, when Young Thug got arrested alongside 27 other individuals associated with YSL Records in a 56-count indictment under Georgia's RICO Act. Prosecutors, led by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis, alleged that YSL operated as a criminal street gang, Young Slime Life, while simultaneously functioning as a music label. The charges they hit Young Thug with were serious business. Young Thug faced 8 charges, including conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, participation in criminal street gang activity, 3 counts of violating the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of a firearm during a felony, and possession of a machine gun. A re-indictment in August 2022 added 6 additional counts stemming from a search of his home.
Oh! They bro. That motherfucker shrimp, man. Man, them folk coming out of trees and all types of snipers. You hear me? Drones, helicopters, all types.
The prosecution's game plan was unprecedented in how they approached it. Prosecutors used 17 sets of YSL lyrics as evidence, including lines from Anybody and Slatty, sparking outrage from freedom of speech advocates and artists who argued that rap is artistic expression, not literal confession. This move drew criticism from across the music industry and led to the Protect Black Art petition, co-authored by 300 Entertainment's Kevin Liles, which gained traction to limit such prosecutorial tactics. The trial itself became some real courtroom theater. The trial, which began jury selection in January 2023 and opening statements in November 2023, became the longest-running criminal trial in Georgia history. The whole thing was full of delays, judges getting kicked off cases, and allegations that the prosecutors were doing shady stuff that would ultimately make the whole case look crazy. The case was full of extraordinary courtroom drama and straight chaos. In June 2024, Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, was held in contempt by Judge Glanville for refusing to disclose how he learned of a secret meeting between the judge, prosecutors, and witness Kenneth Lil Woody Copeland. This incident led to Glanville's recusal in July 2024, with Judge Shakura L. Ingram briefly taking over before recusing herself due to a deputy's inappropriate relationship with a defendant. One of the most controversial parts of the prosecution involved key witness Kenneth Lil Woody Copeland, whose testimony was supposed to be crucial to the state's case. Copeland caused significant disruption in June 2024 by invoking his Fifth Amendment rights and giving evasive testimony. Copeland later disavowed prior statements implicating Thug in the 2015 murder of Donovan Nut Thomas. The trial was also marked by real violence and danger that went beyond the courtroom. 2 co-defendants, Shannon Stillwell and Diamante Yak Gotti Kendrick, were stabbed in jail. Stillwell in December 2023 and Kendrick in December 2024. These incidents showed the dangerous conditions the defendants were facing and added another layer of complexity to an already wild situation. Throughout the proceedings, Young Thug made several calls from jail that would later become significant to understanding his mindset and relationships during this period. Several jail calls from 2022 to 2023 went viral post-release, exposing personal aspects of Thug's life. These included conversations with various women, discussions about industry drama, and most relevantly, conversations that would later be seen as contradicting his public positions on plea deals. One particularly significant jail call involved Young Thug discussing the legal troubles of Sean Diddy Combs with Mariah the Scientist. In a call that surfaced in December 2024, Mariah updates Thug on Diddy's legal troubles, reflecting the industry's broader scrutiny under RICO laws. This conversation showed how Thug stayed connected to what was happening in the industry even while he was locked up. Another controversial jail call involved Young Thug's relationship with model Lena Syed. In a nearly 15-minute video call recorded in July 2022 that surfaced on December 23, 2024, Syed was visibly emotional, apologizing to Thug for a statement that came out wrong. This call created additional drama and put strain on his relationship with girlfriend Mariah the Scientist. The isolation and stress of being locked up led to Young Thug making mad phone calls to keep connected with the outside world. During his incarceration, he admitted to speaking with at least 10 women a day to pass the time, expressing concern about Mariah's deep attachment and noting that her potential devastation if he were to do something scared him.
YSL Woody sends a message to Young Thug after Pee Wee Roscoe spoke on his behalf.
I love you. Nothing gonna stop me from loving you but what you do from this moment forward.
One of the most controversial jail calls involved his conversation with Instagram model Lena Syed. In the July 2022 call, Syed was visibly emotional, crying and apologizing to Thug, saying, "I only want you, and I obviously want you to be out of jail and out here with me." Young Thug's response showed his state of mind. He told her to move on and find love. with someone new. The prosecution's case relied heavily on allegations that went back years. Prosecutors alleged Thug co-founded YSL as a Bloods-affiliated gang in 2012, orchestrating crimes like the 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas and a 2022 Southwest Atlanta shooting. The case tried to establish a pattern of criminal activity spanning over a decade.
Nah, he didn't do that. Nope, he didn't do that.
He did it?
The resolution of Young Thug's case came in dramatic fashion. On October 31st, 2024, Young Thug pleaded guilty to 1 gang charge, 3 drug charges, and 2 gun charges, and entered a no-contest plea to another gang charge and a racketeering conspiracy charge. Crucially, this was a non-negotiated blind plea, meaning Thug did not cooperate with prosecutors. The sentence structure was complicated and conditional. Judge Paige Reese Whitaker sentenced him to 40 years, structured as 5 years in prison, commuted to time served, 15 years of probation, and 20 years backloaded to be served in prison if probation is violated. The probation conditions were extensive, including a 10-year ban from Metro Atlanta, no contact with gang members except Gunna and Unfunk for contractual and familial reasons, and 500 hours of community service. The broader implications of the YSL RICO case went way beyond the individual defendants. The case exemplified the criminalization of hip-hop, with critics arguing it unfairly targeted black artists escaping hardship through music. The use of lyrics as evidence became a particular point of contention, with advocates arguing it violated artistic expression and First Amendment rights. The case ultimately concluded with mixed results for the prosecution. The trial concluded in June 2025 with no murder convictions, as the final defendant, Christian Eppinger, pleaded guilty to armed robbery and RICO conspiracy. This outcome suggested that the prosecution's most serious allegations may not have been as strong as initially presented.
Young Thug plea deal involved pleading guilty to gang, drug, and gun charges. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that YSL is a gang.
The YSL RICO case stands as one of the most complex and controversial prosecutions in hip-hop history, involving questions of artistic freedom, prosecutorial overreach, and the criminalization of black art. The jail calls that emerged during and after the proceedings provided insight into the human cost of the case and the impossible choices faced by defendants caught up in the system. Behind the Wall, the Snitch Code, and what's coming next. Young Thug's 567-day bid at Cobb County Jail revealed the harsh realities of doing time as a high-profile defendant, while simultaneously exposing the complex cultural dynamics around snitching that define hip-hop's moral code. His experience, combined with controversial jail calls and past allegations, paints a comprehensive picture of how the system intersects with rap culture's unforgiving standards of keeping it real. Young Thug was held in administrative solitary confinement for his safety, with his attorney Brian Steele describing the conditions as inhumane and dungeon-like, noting 24-hour overhead lighting that prevented sleep, inedible food, and lack of access to exercise, showers, or interaction beyond legal counsel. These conditions took a serious toll on his physical and mental health, with Thug being briefly hospitalized on May 11, 2023, after falling ill during a court hearing. The significance of snitching in rap culture cannot be understated, and Young Thug's case became central to these street politics. Snitching in hip-hop culture stems from the genre's sociocultural roots and historical context, emerging from marginalized urban communities where distrust of law enforcement is rooted in historical abuses such as racial profiling and mass incarceration. The consequences for those labeled as snitches in the culture are severe and far-reaching. The most prominent example is Tekashi 6ix9ine Ein, who pleaded guilty to racketeering and firearms charges tied to the 9 Trey Bloods in 2019, agreeing to testify against associates. His cooperation led to industry blackballing, with peers like Meek Mill and Snoop Dogg publicly condemning him. Another example is Lil Cease, who testified in Lil Kim's perjury trial in 2005, stemming from a 2001 shootout. His subpoenaed testimony contributed to Kim's conviction, leading to him being labeled a rat by peers and fans, effectively stalling his career.
You let Pee Wee do that. You let Pee Wee do that. And Pee Wee got you in all this stuff. Pee Wee got on the internet calling people rats. Now people don't delete the videos. You are what you are, buddy.
Young Thug's own snitching allegations stem from multiple sources. In August 2025, a 2015 interrogation audio clip went viral where Thug allegedly discussed the shooting of Lil Wayne's tour bus, implicating YSL associate Pee Wee Roscoe. In the audio, Thug reportedly said, "They said Roscoe, but I don't want to block out y'all's case by saying Roscoe ain't do that. And every day Roscoe broke the kin law." However, Pee Wee Roscoe himself came to Young Thug's defense, stating, "Jeff clean as Listerine, man. Clean as ivory soap." He kept it silent, kept it overly real, suggesting Thug's comments were strategic to avoid incriminating him.
Because I know what I did. I know what I've been through. But you is a snitch too. And I ain't happy about it. I'm mad about it. Because I've been knowing this the whole time.
Young Thug's beefs and controversies have been numerous throughout his time in the game. His relationship with Gunna became particularly strained following the YSL case. Thug initially appeared to distance himself from Gunna after his plea deal, posting on X, "Gunna, stop acting like we friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy." However, phone calls suggested he privately felt that other rappers jumped the gun on Gunna. The beef with YFN Lucci was another significant controversy in the streets. The YSL RICO indictment alleged tensions between YSL and YFN Lucci's crew, linked to the 2015 murder of Donovan Nutt Thomas, with prosecutors claiming Thug rented a car used in the killing. Young Thug's criminal history extends beyond the RICO case. In 2015, he was arrested for threatening to kill a security guard at an Atlanta mall, charged with terroristic threats. This incident led to the interrogation audio where he discussed the Lil Wayne bus shooting. In August 2022, he faced 4 misdemeanor charges: street racing, reckless driving, speeding, and not wearing a seatbelt, stemming from a May 2021 incident where he allegedly drove 120 miles per hour on I-85.
I left that stupid stuff in jail. Y'all brought that stupid stuff out here.
The aftermath of Young Thug's incarceration has been marked by ongoing legal drama. In April 2025, prosecutors moved to revoke Thug's probation, alleging he violated terms by reposting a social media image of investigator Marissa Viverito with the caption, "Marissa Viverito is the biggest liar in the DA's office." This motion poses a serious threat, as it could result in him serving the 20-year backloaded sentence. Other controversial jail calls continued to surface after his release, creating ongoing public relations headaches. A call discussing multiple women put strain on his relationship with Mariah the Scientist, leading to his public apology on X. "Sorry to my baby for all this bullshit on the internet. Love you, baby, and F them all, we know what's up with us." The reactions from other rappers to Young Thug's situation have been mixed and revealing of the complex dynamics within the culture. Drake criticized the leak of a jail call between Thug and Mariah the Scientist, calling it jail misconduct on Instagram and questioning Judge Earl Glanville's handling of the case. Killer Mike argued that Thug's arrest was part of a racially prejudiced targeting of rap music, comparing it to charging a movie set as a cartel for depicting fictional crimes. However, not all reactions were supportive. Charleston White reacted strongly to the 2015 audio, stating on Instagram, "I'm going to slaughter Young Thug. I prophesized this. I told y'all Young Thug was gone, go tell it," accusing the entire YSL group of being loose-lipped.
Yeah, I'm mad about it. I knew it. I knew it.
The culture of self-snitching in rap has also claimed numerous victims. Bobby Shmurda's 2014 song Hot Nigga named gang affiliates and described street activities, which was used by prosecutors in his 2014 conspiracy case, resulting in a 7-year sentence. YNW Melly's song Murder on My Mind detailed a gruesome murder and was read in court during his 2019 trial for murdering 2 friends. Tay K boasted about breaking house arrest after a 2016 murder charge in The Race, leading to a 55-year sentence for murder in 2019. Young Thug's brother Unfunk's role in the case has been particularly tragic. Unfunk's plea and reincarceration underscore the RICO case's impact on Thug's inner circle, with his legal troubles mirroring Thug's own challenges. Thug's admission of encouraging Unfunk's plea deal reveals the tension between family loyalty and public perception in hip-hop's anti-snitching culture.
I told all y'all, hey bro, I did this for y'all because I care about y'all. I didn't have to do that for y'all. You feel me? I looked y'all in y'all eyes.
The broader implications for Young Thug's future remain uncertain and complex. His current legal status is shaky, with strict probation conditions, including a 10-year Atlanta ban, no contact with gang members except Gunna and Unfunk for professional and familial reasons, and 500 hours of community service. The pending probation violation motion threatens to completely derail his freedom. From a musical perspective, Young Thug's influence on the game remains significant. He is preparing UI Scooty, signaling a return to music, while his 2023 album Business is Business, released from jail, hit #1 on the Billboard charts, proving his enduring popularity. However, his ability to navigate the complex terrain of street credibility while operating under legal constraints will determine his future success in the streets and on the charts.
Y'all need to get out here and disappointed everybody. Because y'all just fought for y'all life and y'all had the world cheering for y'all. Y'all had the world cheering for y'all.
The relationship with Gunna remains one of the most intriguing aspects of Young Thug's future. Despite public tensions, Thug's attorney requested and received Permission for continued professional contact with Gunna, suggesting a complex relationship marked by both personal affection and professional necessity. YSL Mondo's August 2024 retraction of Gunna's snitch label, admitting Gunna didn't rap, he just kind of folded under pressure, indicates shifting perspectives within the YSL camp.
Everybody guilty, even me. Everybody guilty. And y'all come out of jail.
Looking toward the future, several factors will determine Young Thug's trajectory in the game. The pending probation violation motion poses the most immediate threat to his freedom. Brian Steele called the motion baseless, seeking its dismissal, but no hearing date has been confirmed as of August 30th, 2025. Success in defending against this motion is crucial for his continued freedom on the streets. His money recovery has been significant. In August 2025, Judge Whitaker dismissed a civil forfeiture case, allowing Thug to recover $150,000 in cash, luxury cars, guns, and jewelry, bolstering his financial stability. This recovery provides the resources necessary for rebuilding his career and maintaining his legal defense. The broader hip-hop community's reaction will also play a crucial role in his future success. The case has sparked ongoing debates about loyalty, snitching, and the intersection of music and crime in hip-hop culture. Young Thug's ability to navigate these cultural expectations while maintaining authenticity will be critical to his long-term viability as an artist in the streets and in the industry.
Prosecutors ain't did it. The judge ain't did it. God did it.
The ultimate legacy of Young Thug's legal battles and the controversy surrounding them may be a more nuanced understanding of the pressures faced by artists in the criminal justice system. The snitching accusations highlight the complex interplay between street culture, artistic expression, and legal survival. As the hip-hop community continues to grapple with these issues, Young Thug's case serves as both a cautionary tale and a catalyst for broader discussions about authenticity, loyalty, and the cost of survival in the hood. Whether Young Thug can overcome the damage from these revelations and rebuild his reputation remains to be seen. The streets are watching, the industry is waiting, and his next moves will determine whether he can reclaim his position as one of the most influential voices in hip-hop, or whether the contradictions exposed by a simple phone conversation will define his legacy. In a culture where authenticity is everything and inconsistency is unforgivable, Young Thug faces perhaps the greatest challenge of his career, proving that he can still be trusted to keep it real when it matters most. Enjoying the content? Make sure to check out the suggested videos by clicking the cards on your screen.